Hey, hey, hey. What is going on? Nuclear Dad Gang. All right, so this is episode 3, season 2, episode 3. And today we are going to get into self talk and limiting beliefs. Now, self talk is, you can call it your inner dialogue, right? That voice in your head, and not the voices that the doctors ask you. You went through something, an episode, and something bad happened, and they say, hey, do you hear voices? I'm not talking about those voices. I'm talking about the voice that's always there. What should we have for dinner tonight? Should I go to this gas station? Should I wear these shoes? I wonder how this shirt looks with these pants. I wonder if the kids are asleep yet. She says she's fine, but is she really fine? No, she can't be fine. No, yeah, she's fine. No, she's not fine. That voice that's always in the back of your mind, guiding you through your day to day. Now, this voice is called your inner self, and when it speaks to you, it's called your inner dialogue, right? And when this voice has a negative outlook or a non-positive disposition, it can create some real havoc in your life. So, as usual, I want you to sit back, get comfortable, put your feet up, get a cold beverage, get something to snack on, and we're going to take a ride down memory lane. But it's your memories. Because your memories and your conditioning and programming is what contributes to a majority of your self-talk. And we're going to talk about self-talk and inner dialogue, the negative, the positive, the good, the bad, the ugly, and how to make sure you are on the right track to speaking life into you. So, we'll be back in a snap. Stay tuned. All right, and we're back, and we're going to get into some data. So, this first article comes from healthline.com, and it's titled Positive Self-Talk: How Talking to Yourself is a Good Thing. What is positive self-talk? Self-talk is your inner dialogue. That's what I just said. It is influenced by your subconscious mind, and it reveals your thoughts, beliefs, questions, and ideas. Self-talk can be both negative and positive. It can be encouraging and it can be distressing. Much of your self-talk depends on your personality. If you're an optimist, your self-talk may be more hopeful and positive. The opposite is generally true if you tend to be a pessimist. Positive thinking and optimism can be an effective stress management tool. Indeed, having a more positive outlook on life can provide you with some health benefits. For example, one 2010 study shows optimists have a better quality of life. If you believe your self-talk is too negative, or if you tend to emphasize positive self-talk, you can learn to shift that internal dialogue. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me reread that. If you believe your self-talk is too negative, or if you want to emphasize positive self-talk, you can learn to shift that inner dialogue. It can help you to be more positive of a person, and it may improve your health. Now, why is it good for you? It can enhance your performance and general well-being. For example, research shows self-talk can help athletes with performance. It may help them with endurance or to power through a set of heavy weights. Furthermore, positive self-talk and a more optimistic outlook can have other health benefits, including increased vitality, greater life satisfaction, improved immune function, reduced pain, better cardiovascular health, better physical well-being, reduced risk for death, less stress and distress. It is not clear why optimists and individuals with more positive self-talk experience these benefits. However, research suggests people with positive self-talk may have mental skills that allow them to solve problems, think differently, and be more effective at coping with hardships or challenges. This can reduce the harmful effects of stress and anxiety. Mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter. Now, how does it work? Before you can learn to practice More self-talk. You must first identify negative thinking. This is the type of thinking, and self-talk generally falls into 4 categories. Personalizing. You blame yourself for everything. Oh, it's all my fault. Oh, it's raining because I knew it was going to rain. All of that, stinking thinking, right? Magnifying. You focus on the negative aspects of a situation, ignoring any and all of the positive. Catastrophizing. You expect the worst, and you rarely let logic or reason persuade you otherwise. Polarizing. You see the world in black and white or good and bad. There is nothing in between and no middle ground for processing and categorizing life events. When you begin to recognize your types of negative thinking, you can work to turn them into positive thinking. This task requires practice and time and doesn't develop overnight. Be gentle with yourself. The good news is, it can be done. A 2012 study shows even small children can learn to correct negative self-talk. This is very true. Now, my older son, very critical of himself. He's a sensitive child sometimes, and I'm really hard on him when it comes to certain things, because as much as I want him to be a child, I give him his time to play and roughhouse and lollygag and do all the things that 5-year-old boys do. But when he gets something wrong and I say, no, that's not right, he'll sulk. His physicality will change. His shoulders will slump. His smile will turn upside down, and he'll say things like, oh, it's all my fault. Oh, I can't do anything right. And I immediately jump on him. Don't ever let me hear you talking like that. Then I make him say positive affirmations. They actually work. And sometimes he'll say it real low. Oh, I'm great. I'm brave. And I make him yell it. Top of his lungs. Sometimes he gets a little too loud. I gotta bring it down a little bit. But I want to make sure I see him change that energy as soon as I spot the negativity creeping in, because I'm going to do everything I can to teach him how this mind thing works. I'm going to give him everything that I've learned. I'm going to condense it as much as I can, and I want him to be a better version of me at an earlier point in life, which is one of the reasons why I created the Nuclear Dad. Because if you've been listening, this is an ode to my father, but it's also a foundation for my sons. Because my father died when I was 24, and there are things now that I wish I could talk to him about, but I can't. And I know the one thing that's guaranteed in life is that there will be a curtain call for all of us. And when I'm not around, they'll have access to this. They'll be able to hear my voice, read my words, look at the things that I've laid out for them, and set themselves up on a path that can get them further in a shorter amount of time. That's what it's about. Back to the article. What are some examples? These scenarios are examples of when and how you can turn negative self-talk into positive self-talk. Again, it takes practice. Recognizing some of your own negative self-talk in these scenarios may help you develop skills to flip the thought when it occurs. Negative. I disappoint everything if I change my mind. Well, I'll disappoint everyone if I change my mind. Positive. I have the power to change my mind. Others will understand. Story time. When I was out in the world doing my thing, and I would get invited out to parties, because I was in the entertainment industry at some point, and I would get invited to these parties and events, I would agree if I felt like it, but I would also tell people, yo, I'm a flake. If I wake up and I don't feel like going, I'm not gonna go. Just know now, I may not be there. In this moment, I want to be there, but if it comes up and my well-being and my peace is more important than hanging out with a bunch of people getting drunk and high, I'm going to choose the former. Protect your peace at all costs. Negative example. I have failed and embarrassed myself. Positive. I'm proud of myself for even trying. That took courage. Negative. I'm overweight and out of shape. I might as well not bother. Positive. I am capable and strong, and I want to get healthier for me. Negative. I let everyone on my team down when I didn't score. Positive. Sports are a team event. We win and lose together. Negative. I've never done this before, and I'll be bad at it. Positive. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to learn from others and grow. Negative. There is no way this will work. Positive. I can and will give it my all to make this work. Now, how do you use this on a daily basis? Positive self-talk takes practice if it's not your natural instinct. If you're generally more pessimistic, you can learn to shift your inner dialogue to be more encouraging and uplifting. However, forming a new habit takes time and effort. Generally, they say it's like 21 days to form a new habit, but I digress. Over time, your thoughts can shift. Positive self-talk can become your norm. These tips can help. Identify negative self-talk traps. Check in with your feelings. Find the humor. Surround yourself with positive people. Give yourself positive affirmations. What did I just say? This is what I do for my sons and for myself. It took me years to become this person presenting this information to you. There was a time that I was an extreme pessimist. I was always down in the dumps. I didn't think I was good enough. Even though I had uber confidence on the outside, there was always that inner dialogue telling me I wasn't good enough. I'm not as great as this person. I'll never be as cool as that guy. I'll never be as tall or as thin or as muscular as this person. It happens, especially when we have so much visual imagery in the form of social media and in all media, actually. If you're looking at television and stars and all of these things, you're comparing yourself to these people when these people are just people, just like you. Some people are born with great genetics. They can eat everything under the sun and never gain a pound. They never have to work out and are naturally muscular. They don't use skin products and are naturally handsome with no acne. They have a wonderful hairline. They had awesome beards at 12 years old. This happens, guys. So do not compare yourself to other people at all. Now, it goes on to ask, when should I seek support? Positive self-talk can help you improve your outlook in life. It can also have less lasting positive health benefits, including improved health and a better quality of life. However, self-talk is a habit made over a lifetime. If you tend to have negative self-talk and err on the side of pessimism, you can learn to change it. It takes time and practice, but you can develop uplifting positive self-talk. If you find yourself not successful on your own, talk with a therapist. Mental health experts can help pinpoint sources of negative self-talk and learn to flip the switch. Ask your healthcare provider, blah, 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 and they give you resources. This is a good article. They talk about understanding self-talk and what is self-talk. We talked about that. How does self-talk work? Positive, negative, language matters. Yes, I'm going to actually read that part. Researchers have found out that it's not only about what you say to yourself, it's also the language that you use to say it. One 2014 report describes the role of language in self-talk. What's the key when practicing self-talk? Don't refer to yourself in the first person, such as I or me. Instead, refer to yourself in the third person using he or she, or refer to yourself by name. Brene Brown, professor at the University of Houston Graduate College and motivational speaker, refers to negative voices in her head as her gremlins. By giving her negative thoughts a name, she's both stepping away from them and poking fun at them. The report goes on to say that using the third person in self-talk can help you step back and think more objectively about your response and emotions. Whether you're thinking about a past event or looking into the future, it can also help you reduce stress and anxiety. Good article. Healthline.com/mental/health. /mental health/self-talk. #getting started. Just look up positive self-talk, healthline.com, if you want to read the article in its entirety. I encourage you to do so because it's got some gems in there. I like it. I'm going to bookmark it because it gave me some ideas of some things that I can do for you guys. And the idea about this stuff is I'm learning as I'm talking. I mean, a lot of this stuff I already know, but for me to try to quantify it in the words, I don't want to ramble and stumble. So that's why I read the data to you. And in doing so, I get these light bulbs, I get these ideas, and it's going to help me create better, more tailored content to the men that I'm talking to. I'm not talking to everybody. If you've made it this far into this episode or into this season, if you listen to season 1 and you're back for season 2 and you're here with me now, then this is for you. Some people are going to fall off early. That's going to happen. I'm cool with that. Everything ain't for everybody. Now, next article, verywellmind.com. How to use positive self-talk for stress relief. Reduce stress and improve your life with positive self-talk. Develop the positive self-talk habit. You may not realize it, but your self-talk may be sabotaging your stress levels. Self-talk is the way your inner voice makes sense of the world around you and the way you communicate with your inner self. It can greatly affect your stress levels in multiples of ways. If your self-talk is generally negative, you may be perceiving events they got a typo. If your self-talk is generally negative, you may be perceiving events supposed to be of your life as more stressful than they need to be and creating unnecessary anxiety and stress for yourself. You may be attributing negative motivations to people who are well-meaning. You may be perceiving yourself as less equipped to handle challenges you face, and you may be seeing only more negative than positive in what you are facing in life, when there may be a much less stressful bright side you're not perceiving because of habitual negative self-talk. You may also succumb to rumination, a pattern of negative thinking that can consume your idle time and bring stress from the past into the present unnecessarily without leading to any resolution. Patterns of negative or positive self-talk often start in childhood. It's exactly why I do what I do with my sons. Now they talk about stopping self-talk, noticing your patterns, journal writing, thought stopping. Let's go to that. As you notice yourself saying something negative in your mind, you can stop your thought midstream by saying to yourself, stop. Just stop it. Saying this aloud will be more powerful. Now, keep in mind, if you're in a public place and you're in the middle, maybe you're going into a meeting or on your way into the kids' school, or you're meeting your wife for lunch, and you get a negative thought and you say, stop it out loud, people might turn around and look, but that's all good, because you have just taken a step forward in switching that thinking. So even if you say it out loud and people hear it, doesn't matter. For all they know, you could be on the phone. You can have some AirPods in. It is what it is. Don't let what other people think or perceive about you affect you. Easier said than done, but we are a one-man army, gentlemen, and we're going to be fine. The rubber band snap. Another therapeutic trick is to walk around with a rubber band around your wrist. As you notice negative self-talk, pull the band away from your skin and let it snap back. It'll hurt a little and serve as a slight negative consequence that will both make you more aware of your thoughts and help to stop them. Or if you don't want to subject yourself to walking around with a rubber band on your wrist, you'll be even more careful to limit your negative thoughts. Now, I saw this in a movie with Mark Wahlberg. I can't remember the name, but the plot was like he was like a reincarnated. It was like two groups. They were like immortals, and he was reincarnated by some guy who had died with some information about something crazy, but he had these issues throughout his life, and went to jail and was a problem child, and now he's trying to get himself together, and he's been institutionalized, and he's a badass because he's a badass in all his movies. But when he felt himself going to that negative space, he would snap that rubber band, and that happened throughout the movie. It actually was a little bit of comic relief. But yeah, I may try that. Well, I don't know if I need it, but I may try it just as an experiment. Replace negative statements, yada yada yada. So this looks pretty good. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Verywellmind.com. Reduce stress and improve your life with positive self-talk. I like it. I'm going to bookmark it because I want to be reminded of that rubber band snap. Okay. Next one, and then we're going to take a quick break. This is positivepsychology.com. What is positive self-talk? Including examples. It's not uncommon for most of us to keep a running dialogue inside our heads. This dialogue can range from giving ourselves instructions while we carry out a task, random observations about our environment or a situation, or it could be often referred to as self-talk. Self-talk is an inner narrative you hold about yourself. We know this, your inner voice, and you may or may not have spent much time thinking about it or giving it any attention. The truth is, our self-talk can actually have a much bigger influence on the way we see ourselves and the world around us. We know this. Blah, 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 blah. They want me to download something. I'm not going to do that. Look at the psychology. Self-talk is generally thought to be a mix of conscious and unconscious beliefs and biases that we hold about ourselves and the world generally. It was Sigmund Freud who first created the idea that we have both conscious and unconscious levels of thought, with unconscious cognitive processes influencing our behavior in ways we don't realize. Self-talk can be positive or negative, and paying attention to which you most often sway towards can help you start making proactive changes about how you take on life challenges. Now we get into negative, self-positive. We've done that. We need to rehash that. What does the research say? In terms of how impactful positive self-talk can be, the research unanimously agrees it is quite a lot. From sports professionals to losing weight to combating depression, challenging the way you talk to yourself can have a proactive role on effect and behavioral changes. Kaiser Smeets and Degerman, whatever, I don't know that name, 2013, conducted a study where they asked patients with anorexia nervosa to walk through a doorway that became increasingly narrower. Participants with the disorder began to turn their bodies when the doorway was 40% wider than their shoulders, compared to the participants who had no diagnosis, who only began to turn when the doorway was 25% wider than their shoulders. The researchers surmised that the negative self-talk the anorexia participants participated in had a dramatic effect on the way they viewed their bodies, making them believe they were larger than they actually were. Interesting. Conroy and Metzler, 2004, explored the ways self-talk impacts cognitive anxiety in sports performance. They looked at a state-specific self-talk, so the way athletes spoke to themselves while failing, while succeeding, while wishing for success, and while fearing failure. They measured these alongside expressions of situation-specific trait performance anxiety, fear of failure, fear of success, and sports anxiety. They found the strongest results for self-talk associated with fear of failure and sports anxiety. Essentially, the athletes experience higher anxiety when using negative self-talk. Similarly, Kendall and Treadwell, 2007, also explored the way self-talkers affects anxiety. They investigated self-talk as a predictor for anxiety in children with and without a diagnosis of an anxiety disorder. They found that reducing negative self-talk mediated substantial treatment gains in the children with a diagnosis. Risberg, 1993, found that self-talk can help improve learning performance by assisting with the concept of chuckling complex information, which has been proven in aiding recall and carrying out complex tasks accurately. Chopra, 2012, found that providing students with effective strategies to turn negative self-talk into positive self-talk enabled them to successfully transform their negative thought processes and the value of doing so in their lives. Todd, Oliver, and Harvey, 2011, carried out a review of the literature and research surrounding self-talk, unanimously found that positive self-talk interventions are effective in mediating cognitive and behavioral change. And that was a mouthful, but basically, these nerds got together in all these different instances to basically say what I just said. Negative self-talk ruins lives. In students, in athletes, the anxiety increased, the fear of failure, the fear of poor performance. All of these things are triggered by negative self-talk. And the opposite is true. When there's positive self-talk, people can change those circumstances. And this is with your mind and with life. If we go back to the motivation manifesto from last season, I gave ways to motivate yourself. But what I didn't really get into, which is what I'm getting into now, is how your self-talk helps with that. It helps with relationships, which is what we're talking about, right? The relationship with you is ultimately going to dictate the relationship with your family, with your wife and your children, which is why I'm stressing for us to be better men. I think that's all I need to get into with this, because there's a lot of rehashing. And this is going to be straight through. No music breaks this season. Because if I want to move this podcast to something else, I can't mention songs that I don't have the rights to. I can play the songs on Spotify in the show, but it's only a snippet. It's like 30 seconds, which is cool, a good way to mix it up. But if you can't hear the whole song, what's really the point? Maybe I'll do it in 1 or 2 episodes, but I'm not going to do it as much as last season. Last season, I just got a little too comfortable, and it also took away time from the actual podcast because I have to find songs that correlate with the subject matter. I mean, it was fun, but I am being I'm making better use of my time. And this episode is going to be a little bit longer than the last two. I'm shooting for like 30 minutes this time. I think the last two were like 25 and 26 minutes. So we're shooting for like 30 minutes, 35 minutes. But next article, medicalnewstoday.com. What is positive self-talk? We know what that is. What are the benefits? We know what that is. What impact does negative self-talk have? We know what that is. Let's see. The College of Cognitive Behavioral Studies suggests that negative self-talk can lead to a vicious cycle and self-fulfilling prophecy. For example, if a person tells themselves they will not be able to do something, they may be less likely to put effort into doing it. Then when they fail, the person might think, I knew I couldn't do it. That's typical. Individuals who use positive self-talk to counteract repetitive negative thinking, RNT, research suggests from 2018, a risk factor for the severity, persistence, and relapse of depression and anxiety. So basically what they're saying is positive self-talk can prevent these things so much. I think I read it wrong, but that's the gist. But yeah, this is basically the same thing. A lot of these people are saying the same thing. I'm going to throw an article up on nucleardad.com in correlation to this. This is why I call it the blogcast. A lot of the episodes have articles that go with them. And a lot of the articles' contents are in the description on YouTube, but there's usually a little bit more on the website. But yeah, what is this? Let's see if I want to read this. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, a lot of this is the same thing. Okay, so why should I practice? The more you work on improving your self-talk, the easier you'll find it. It's kind of like practicing an instrument or going to sports training. It won't be easy to start with, but you'll get better with time. It may not seem like much, but self-talk is a huge part of our self-esteem and confidence. By working on replacing negative self-talk with more positive self-talk, you're more likely to feel in control of stuff that's going on in your life and achieve your goals. This is very true. They got a cool little infographic up here. 3 ways to talk yourself up. Here are some ways to help change the direction of your self-talk. Listen to what you're saying to yourself. Notice what your inner voice is saying. Is your self-talk more positive or negative? Each day, make notes on what you're thinking. Step 2, challenge your self-talk. Is there an actual evidence of what I'm thinking? What would I say if a friend were in a similar situation? Can I do anything to change what I'm feeling bad about? And then the third step is change your self-talk. Make a list of the positive things about yourself. Instead of saying, I'll never be able to do this, try, is there anything I can do that will help me to do this? That's pretty cool. I like the infographic. I'm actually going to save it because I'm going to make my own infographic. And I'm going to throw it up somewhere. Maybe on the IG, maybe on the, not TikTok. Maybe the IG. Maybe the IG, definitely on the website. Maybe I'll put it in a book. But whatever. It's pretty good. I like it. Okay. Where we at? wellandgood.com. So this was a little listicle. 6 ways to practice positive self-talk without feeling like you're straight up lying to yourself. All right, they got the whole what is positive self-talk, yada, yada, yada. We know this. We know what it is. Talk nice to yourself, guys. The benefits, yeah. New perspective to help during hard times, better relationships, increase self-confidence and self-efficacy, and decrease loneliness. This is true. If you are a loner and you talk nice to yourself, you don't feel alone. You feel like there's another you in the room. And I ain't talking about no alter egos. Maybe I'm talking about that you dream yourself being, but the world, you feel like the world doesn't see him. That guy comes out when you're alone. But is that guy the hero or the villain? That's what you got to ask yourself. So be your hero. Decreased loneliness is a real thing when you have positive self-talk. Now, six methods for implementing positive self-talk in your daily routine. Ensure the positive self-talk feels true. Change your behavior. Start with positive self-talk in one area. Collect all the data without judgment and question your thoughts and work with a professional. I like this. Bookmark. I'm going to spin it and make it sound less sciencey and give you guys some game. A lot of this stuff is pretty much the same thing. I mean, if you just Google positive self-talk, you'll go and get a bunch of stuff, especially if you stay on page 1. A lot of these things are pretty much the same way. Now, here's another one. It says 15 ways to practice positive self-talk for success. Have a purpose higher than self. Facts. The Nuclear Dad. This is bigger than me. This thing is bigger than Nino Brown, if you ever see New Jack City. Cut overly negative people out of your life. That is a fact. Listen, I got family I don't even talk to. Why? Negative Nancy's. Negative Nancy's. I love them. And this is men and women. I love them because they're family. But they always got some ish going on with them. And I don't want nothing to do with it. I got to keep that. I got to keep my peace close to me. And I ain't talking about my firearm, but I keep that close too. But I don't want any dealings with the shenanigans, man, because, this is a passage in the Bible that says, evil communication corrupts good morals. Meaning, if you are around, like attracts like, if you're around negative people, expect to get a little bit more negative circumstances in your life. Likewise, if you're around positive people, same deal. So cut overly negative people out of your life. Be grateful. Yes. I can't say enough about this. Show gratitude. And they got highlighted. Starting a gratitude journal. We got the Datitude journal. Look for it. Spot a Nuclear Dad. Don't compare yourself to others. Just said that. Use positive words with others. Believe in your success. Don't fear failure. Replace negative thoughts with positive ones. Post positive affirmations. Yeah, on your social. Post them positives. Those mantras, the scriptures, the affirmations. All right, I got cut off. I was going too long. I forgot there's a 30-minute time limit. So that means we're pretty much right there at the end mark. Now, this is number 8. Replace negative thoughts with positive ones. So yeah, like I was saying, post those positive affirmations. I'm sorry, number 9 is post positive affirmations. Post them on your socials, all over your TikTok. Say some words of wisdom. I have something called a quotationary. A quotationary is a dictionary of quotes. And I may bring this back, actually. It's a good idea. I used to only post positive messages. Only. So if you follow me on social media and you start seeing me posting quotables, it's probably from the quotationary. But it helps. It helps others and it helps yourself. It starts to change your inner self-talk. And you'll find quotes that you love and you'll memorize and it'll become a part of your makeup. Don't dwell in the past. Now, I've heard it said, I don't know if it's true, that depression comes from dwelling in the past and anxiety comes from dwelling in the future of events that haven't happened yet. I don't know if it's true, but I feel like if maybe you do some introspection and you take stock of your thoughts, you may find it to be true in most cases. Number 11, visualize your success. Vision boards, mind movies, all of these things are good. See your success in your mind and then tell yourself you're going to be successful. Number 12, limit your intake of news and media. That's a big one. News is bad news. And I may do something with that. I'm not going to speak on it right now because I don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't want to take on more than I can or bite off more than I can chew. But I may do something with the news. But limit and I'm being very vague about it for a reason. But limit your intake of news and media. Help others. Do something to help other people. Being a good Samaritan, it goes a long way. And you get a sense of accomplishment. You get a sense of positivity when you do something nice for somebody that they don't expect. Like when you see the people, they go to Starbucks and they pay for their person's coffee behind them. I've seen stories about this being paid forward, and there's like 200 cars of people just paying for the next person's order. That's a real thing. Maybe we should start a chain of philanthropy and gratitude where you are. Be physically active. Movement is medicine. Dream and set goals. And I could go on and on about this, but 5, 10, 15, 20-year goals is a thing. But you could set something lofty, like I want to make $1 million in 6 months. Now, you may not make $1 million, or you may, or whatever it is. I'm just using money because everybody loves money. Everybody relates to money. But you could say, I'm going to make $1 million in 6 months. And you can have the plan to do it, and you hit the ground running. There's a good chance that you may not make $1 million. But if you make 500 grand, is that such a bad thing? I don't think so. I could do a lot with 500 grand. I know you could too. But I'm bookmarking this because, yeah, I like it. This is from lifehack.org, actually. This is a good one. But that's all the data I'm getting into for tonight. And this is going to take us, like I said, about 35 minutes or so. Let's just say even 40. But I want you to be mindful, gentlemen, of your self-talk. I want you to create an avatar of you. But maybe give him your dad's voice or somebody that you respect of authority. But he should look like you. And he should wear the clothes that you think are cool. Take some time and look through GQ or look through a men's fashion magazine or a blog and pick out some styles that you see yourself in. Maybe you can't afford the clothes. That's not the point, because the clothes don't make the man. But think about your ideal look. Think about your ideal haircut, your ideal build. If you want to put on a couple extra pounds, see yourself as this towering, muscle-bound caricature. And let that person be your inner positive self-talk. Like the lady who said her negative self-talk, she calls them her gremlins. She's poking fun at it. She's belittling the negative self-talk. You can make your self-talk your gremlins or your trolls. My troll's coming out. He's telling me I'm not good enough. He's telling me this spare tire is getting in the way. And you make your positive self-talk avatar your super you. Your hero, your super you. I like that. Your super you. But think about these things. Think about being the best you can be. And then go out there and do it. Now that's all I'm leaving you with today. I hope it helped. I hope it helps. I feel like in my mind, in my heart, in my soul that I am doing the right thing. And even if this reaches one person, I've done my job. Because really, this is a time capsule. This is a future for my children. So if nobody appreciates it today in 2022, I know in 2042, my boys will be like, dang, Daddy was the man. And that's what it's about. So as always, I want you to remember what you are doing it for and who you're doing it for. Remember your mission. Remember to stay on target. Remember to stay focused, stay diligent, stay dangerous. And most importantly, stay cool. Nuclear Dad out.